Here we are now in the closing stages of our morning show. And to end the morning show, we'd like to talk about the emergency number 000. Now, when should we be calling it? Only in an emergency. Here's my offsider now.
Yeah, our ambulance drivers do a very, very tough job at keeping our city safe. And it's really important to respect their time and respect the rest of the citizens of the city and make sure we're not taking the ambulances away from real emergencies.
And when you ring 000, you must have your details ready and state the service that you require, whether it's fire, police, or ambulance, and say the state which you are calling from, like Centide, New South Wales. And the voice will say, connecting ambulance. Here's my special guest.
Yeah, so you'll state which what type of emergency you have, and then you have to give as many details. You'll be asked many details about the situation so the ambulance drivers can prepare as best they possibly can.
Such as their breathing equipment,
Yeah,
like their stretcher,
yeah,
and or their first aid kit. If someone's had a fall or something,
yeah,
or is having severe trouble breathing. And when you say to when the ambulance will ask you, what's the problem? Tell me exactly what has happened and tell them exactly what happened and don't waste the time and be honest and stick to the story.
yeah. Yeah, stick to the story. I mean, like obviously, if you're going to calling an ambulance, it's most likely quite a stressful situation. So, in stressful situations, sometimes our emotions are heightened, and it can be really hard to think clearly. But you have to try your very, very best to speak clearly and give as much information as you possibly can, so the ambulance drivers know what they're walking into.
And 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 be outside waiting for the ambulance because they may not find the building or house that you're calling the ambulance to. So give the number of the business name, and the nearest cross street.
Yeah.
And the phone number in the state that you are calling from.
Yeah.
And also, if my opsider was calling an ambulance for me, she would make sure that I'm comfortable and she would have all my bag and medication packed
Yeah.
and make sure that I was out of the chair ready for the paramedics.
Yeah.
Here's my offsider.
Yeah, so I would have to have your all of your medication, your math chart all ready, so I can also give the ambulance all the information of what medication you have in your system, so they know what medication they're able to give you, and it won't have a bad reaction. And yeah, all of your bags and everything ready to go.
And make sure that I'm out of the chair.
Yeah, depending on the situation, sometimes it might be better to stay in the chair. But yeah, depending on the situation. Just I'd have to have you ready for whatever situation presented itself, to make it as easy as possible for the ambulance ambulance to come in and give their assistance, get you to hospital safely.
So what would you do if I told the ambulance I had severe chest pain.
Yeah, so I would be monitoring. So yeah, I would probably stay on the line to the call center the entire time and make receiving information and instructions and be updating them constantly on your vital signs and how you were going. And so I would be having to, I mean, potentially if it was really bad and you were having a heart attack, then potentially I would have to do CPR on you. So that would mean you'd have to come out of the chair.
So be prepared if you want and be ready. Have your patient ready for the ambulance.
What would you do if I got it? If you had to call an ambulance for me?
I would then say my name and the patient's name and stay on the line the entire time and give the address of where you are, my mobile phone number in case they need to call me back, or the landline number. I would then say that I've got a female who's complaining of severe abdominal pain, example.
Yeah.
And then I would say where I would need the ambulance to come to. Say if it was here at St. Ives.
Yeah.
And then I would then stay with you until the paramedics got here and monitor your vital signs.
Oh, thanks, Barry. I hope that if I ever get into trouble, you're by my side.
Yeah. and that is the story of when you should ring 000.
Yeah.
But don't ever ring 000 for trivial issues. They will not send an ambulance out. Here's my outsider.
Yeah, don't waste the ambulance driver's time. It's just, you're putting other people's lives in danger, you're taking away vital resources from someone who could potentially be in a really dangerous situation. And the ambulance drivers, they put up with a lot, don't they? So we don't want to be wasting their time.
And don't abuse the call takers.
Yeah.
And laugh about it because someone really could be dead by the time the paramedics got there. So don't muck around with 000, guys, especially on a day like today.
Yeah.
As it has been raining. Well, that's the morning show, but on this afternoon show, we'll be talking about Easter.
Yeah. And chocolate.
And hot cross buns. So stay tuned for that.
Adios, amigos.
And we'll see you after the lunch break. Proudly brought to you in part by Helga's. Is the bread Helga's and Primo ham. See you after the lunch break, guys.